Grand jurors in Texas have declined to indict anyone in connection to the death of Sandra Bland, who was found hanged in her cell at the Waller County Jail. Many activists have called for charges against Brian Encinia, the Texas state trooper who arrested Miss Bland after a routine traffic stop had gotten out of control. So her family has publicly kind of disputed the authorities' findings on everything that they've kind of, found a verdict on so far, especially the fact that she had committed suicide. So they decided not to indict anyone because her death was ruled. It had nothing to do with foul play inside of this detention center. It had nothing to do with the foul play of the police officers. It was simply a suicide is what they're saying. Prosecutors wanted to meet with the Bland family. They said no way. They declined to meet with the prosecutors. Larry Roger Jr., the attorney for Sandra Bland's family, said he wanted to make it very clear and plain that we have all absolutely no confidence in what we believe is a sham proceeding. What do you think, Jose?
Well, it's sad to see that there's not going to be a justice served for the family of Sandra Bland. Bernie Sanders came forward and declared today that his sentiment was very clear, and he shares what many of us feel, that in this country, like many other African Americans that die at the custody of police, if Sandra Bland was white, she probably will be alive right now. And I think it's something that we need to look at very closely. And this is sadly another case of many that do not get any type of reprieve for their families because no justice has been served, because everything gets covered up.
Yeah, I mean, and even if it doesn't get covered up, they'll try to cover it up, like the shooting of Laquan McDonald in Chicago, for example, right? And then Officer Van Dyke, who shot the child 16 times, was hit with first-degree murder. Now, that's probably just setting him up for acquittal. We're going to see that that whole case gets acquitted. So even if they do get charged, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to actually face any sort of repercussions for what happened. Now, it is worth mentioning that this case is not over. We're still going to have to see what's going to happen with the officer who initiated this whole entire thing, who stopped her, who pulled her out of the car, who said he was going to light her up with a taser. She was on the ground. She said, "Ow, you hit my head on the ground." He said, "Good," something along the lines of that. So, there's still, a lot to learn from this case, but the fact that so far they couldn't find anyone responsible for her death as far as her hanging in her jail cell is kind of appalling, because there's a lot of reasons why people are saying Sandra Bland, who's, a pretty young woman, had absolutely no reason to kill herself. She had just moved to Texas for a brand new job. Like I said, she was relatively young. She was a successful lady. So her family's also come out and said, well, she in the past had absolutely no suicidal tendencies as well.
The system is built in such a way that these things are able to happen, where we see a moment that, like you mentioned, the Laquan case, we only learned about it because there was a dashcam video that was kept from the media and from the public for a long, long time till the Chicago elections were done. In this case, there's no possibility of us knowing. There was some photographs of the jail cell, and you could really see that it was really hard for her to find a place to hang herself, beyond the statements from the family saying that she really didn't have any reason why to, just because she was arrested, and there was some speculation about the fact that she might have been in possession of marijuana. But even if that were the case, I don't think no one will commit suicide out of a conviction like that. But again, we will maybe never know what really happened.
No, it's a good point. And I think Bernie Sanders also had a very strong point, and you probably wouldn't hear the same thing from someone like Ted Cruz or Donald Trump, because a statement like that, saying, to a lot of your supporters, this would not have happened if this person was white, that could, in a way, offend a lot of Ted Cruz's supporters or Donald Trump's supporters. That would piss them off. So they have to be careful with what they say. On the other side, we have Bernie Sanders. So I guess we're just going to have to see what happens here. Will there be justice for Sandra Bland? Was this in fact a suicide? Or is this some way a cover-up by the officials, by those at the detention center, trying to cover up her death as a suicide?